Hello, dear Polymer Clay enthusiasts. I'm Mihaela from Learn Polymer Clay, and this is the fourth tutorial from the Polymer Clay Christmas Countdown series, and I hope you are having fun and I hope you are inspired to create. For today's tutorial, we are going to use a silicone mold, a cuff blank, and liquid polymer clay. I'm using Fimo liquid, and I'm going to pour some liquid polymer clay inside the mold, but I'm only going to fill 2/3 of the mold because I intend to place the bracelet blank inside the mold. So after gently pressing the bracelet blank inside the mold, I can add some more liquid polymer clay, especially on top of the bracelet component, and then I will fill the entire mold with liquid polymer clay. Before placing the mold with the liquid polymer clay and the bracelet blank inside into the oven, if you should check to see if you have air bubbles trapped inside the polymer clay, and if you do, you can use toothpicks and poke the air out, or take it to the side and remove it from the polymer clay. And before baking the piece, you should make sure that the bracelet blank sits in the center of the mold. This is very important. And then you can bake the piece for 30 minutes at the temperature recommended by the polymer clay manufacturer. If you don't want to make a bracelet, but you would rather make a jewelry component, you can use the mold with filled with liquid polymer clay and bake the liquid polymer clay inside the mold for 30 minutes at the temperature recommended by the polymer clay manufacturer. Then once your pieces are cooled down, you can use scissors and remove any excess clay. So you should check your piece and see if you need to remove some excess clay. And as I said, you can use scissors, or you can use your craft knife to reach in areas where you could not cut using scissors. And it is very important to take the time and do the work in order to have a beautiful piece and nicely finished and everything. And when you are happy with the look of the piece, you can color it, and I'm going to use Pebeo Prism color paints, and they are solvent based paints, and they have a very beautiful honeycomb effect after drying. As you can see, I'm trying to make a supporting system for the bracelet. I need to have the bracelet sit upwards so that I can paint on it. And you can use a toothpick to apply the paint. You can use a paintbrush as well, and if you decide to use a paintbrush, you should use white spirit to clean the paintbrush after using it. So as you can see, I'm applying the color on top of the piece, and I am applying Caribbean blue, which is a color that I particularly like. And these Pebeo Prism colors are pearlescent colors. They are totally unpredictable, but they have a very beautiful rendering. Then I decided to add a little bit of cherry blossom, I think it's called. And I'm applying, I'm mixing the colors, I'm pulling the colors all over the piece, meaning I'm pulling the color to the sides. And as you can see, I'm not coloring the center of the piece, which is in fact of fancy stone, because I intend to glue silver gilding foil in that area, so there's no need to color that part. And I will apply a third color, violet. And as you can see, I'm just pulling the color where and moving it around where I want it to be on the piece. And in the same time, I'm mixing the colors. And you have to be very careful not to put too much color, if not the color might spill. So anyway, while your piece is drying, you should keep an eye on the piece and see if you need to use baby wipes and remove color if you put too much. And I recommend you to go lightly with the colors, because after drying you'll have a very beautiful transparent effect because of the baked liquid Fimo, and because these pearlescent colors they are a little bit transparent when applied on a transparent base. So as you can see, I'm coloring a little bit the sides of the jewelry component. And in fact, these colors are going to be dry on the surface in 24 hours, and they are going to be dry to the core in 72 hours. I'm sorry. And it is recommended to wait for a week before applying resin on top of a design colored with Pebeo Prism paints. So I'm using a paintbrush and Weldbond adhesive to glue the silver gilding foil. You can use super glue as well. You should leave a little bit the adhesive for, I don't know, 1 minute, and then apply the silver gilding foil. So I'm using a small piece of silver gilding foil. And because the Pebeo paints are not dry, as you can see, I'm trying to avoid to damage the colored part, so I'm very careful when I'm applying the foil. And I'm using a paintbrush to press the foil into the adhesive and into the piece. And in case you notice that you have foil glued in areas where you wouldn't want silver foil to be, you can use your craft knife to remove the silver foil from that areas. But again, you have to be very careful because as I said, the Pebeo prism colors take a lot of time to dry. But you'll see they have wonderful effects, and I love them. I like them very much. And I recommend you to try them and to use them with polymer clay, and as well with baked liquid polymer clay. And I'm sure you will have wonderful results. And then you'll have to allow, I don't know, 20-30 minutes for the glue to dry. And then you can apply varnish to protect the silver gilding foil, but only the silver gilding foil. So I will use Cernit Glossy varnish to protect the gilding foil, and I will apply it on the areas that are decorated with the silver foil. As you can see, I'm using a paintbrush. I'm using Glossy, Cernit Glossy varnish, and I'm going to apply a generous amount. I like to apply generous amounts of varnish on my pieces. Or you can apply a first coat of varnish, let it dry, and then apply a second coat. So this is the finished piece. I hope you liked the tutorial, and I hope you are inspired to create your own pieces using polymer clay. Thank you.